All right, so this is gonna be an interesting kind of update, story time video. And the part that makes it an update is that I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some of the stuff that's going on in the hobby. Absolutely insane time to be in the Pokemon hobby right now. And just talk about this story as well, that I lost $342 exactly to the refund. So I'll go ahead and put that up on screen. That was how much I refunded to the buyer. And yeah, totally at a loss. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. And also I wanna let you guys know real quick that on the website, as of January 1st, 2025, the Shopify store has a new law that they have to abide by. And basically how it works is if you decide to purchase from the website, if you go directly onto the website, click checkout, and you do everything through the website, vipokemon.com, you don't have to pay any sales tax. Some people were very surprised to find that out. They're like, oh, there's no sales tax. And yeah, there's no sales tax in Montana. And so I basically get to kind of put that forward to you guys, because I don't have to pay sales tax. You don't have to pay sales tax because it's my website and I'm in Montana. So that's a really cool feature. It works out to being, anywhere from like a 7% to like upwards of 12% discount for some people, just from this not paying the sales tax. I see in New York, it's like they get double taxed from the city and then the state, and then there's some other stuff. So it works out to quite a bit of savings as well if you use code CATCH10 for 10% off. But as of January 1st, 2025, if you use the Shop app, so it's a little purple app, I'll put it up on screen. Basically, if you use the Shop app, then you always have to pay whatever sales tax is in your state. You always have to pay the tax considered in your state. And I think it's just kind of similar to the way eBay does it, basically, where like, because it's a maybe like an international or countrywide, like nationwide, because the app is everywhere, I think that they have to do that. And somehow I guess ShopPay maybe didn't have to for a while, but now they do as of 2025. So I just want to let you guys know that real quick. I noticed a couple customers, they ended up paying like $20 or $30 in sales tax. And that just sucks, because it's like, I don't want you to have to pay more, like it's not going to me, it's just going to the government. And so like that's just something I want to let you guys know real quick. And I'll put timestamps, that way you guys can cut through this video. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the story time. So basically about December 4th, I ended up deciding to sell off some of my comic books from my collection. So I have some comics, some slabs and stuff. I'll show you guys one example here. Here's this guy. It's signed by Giancarlo Esposito, and it's a 9.8 slab. And so I decided to sell off some of them because, I just lost my job. I just quit. I felt like, the website wasn't really going crazy. So I just wanted to sell off some extra stuff, that I had lying around. I wasn't getting a ton of joy from it anymore. And, just kind of focus my collection, like hone my collection in, like what I actually want to like have in my PC versus what is like on the website, what's, available for sale. So basically I had this one comic valued at between like $300 and $500. And I pretty much listed it on eBay. And I decided that I was just gonna list it for like, right around the middle area, maybe like, I think I listed it like 375 to 400, just that way I could sell it quickly. And so yeah, so then I ended up having it listed for like 1 or 2 days, I think. And then somebody decided to buy it. They bought it. They put in an offer, I think, for like 5% off, and I accepted it. So it ended up working out to probably more around like $320 for the price. And then obviously with the taxes they paid and the other stuff through eBay, that was also refunded to them afterwards. So anyways, so I get this slab, I put it through the mail, and it's an expensive slab. And so I decide that, just in case, I'm gonna be careful because I've had issues in the past. I'm gonna put signature confirmation on this package. That way, there's no chance that it gets stolen off his door. There's no chance that he claims, oh, it wasn't delivered. I would have proof of delivery. That was the purpose of signature confirmation. So that way, he has to sign for it, or someone has to sign for it, whoever it's delivered to, right? Keep that in mind. So I end up paying an extra $4.75 for signature tracking, and then I put it in the mail, priority mail as well. I didn't put it in ground shipping, so priority is supposed to be a little bit faster, a little bit more expensive. It was an extra probably like $4 or $5 for priority mail. So I did all that out of pocket. He did not pay for that. He paid for ground and he paid for no signature. He didn't ask for signature. I paid out of pocket an extra $10. That way I knew that it could get there safely and I'd be fine. Now, flash forward about a week and package isn't there. Customers worried, and there's, appears to be an update on the tracking that says insufficient address, return to sender. Now, I look at where they scanned that package. They put the package on the wrong delivery truck. So it just ended up in the wrong post office. And that post office said, oh, this isn't in our area, this is in our town. I'm gonna go ahead and, instead of reading the label, instead of just rerouting the package to where it's supposed to go, they just slap it with a return to sender stamp and throw it in the pile. And that was a week after delivery. So remember, I listed it around December 4th. I shipped it out like December 5th. And then a week later, December 12th, it's marked as return to sender and it's nowhere to be seen. The customer doesn't have it. I don't have it. He ends up opening a missing package claim, which I understand because it was priority mail. It was supposed to be there within like 3 days. And so he ends up opening that up. eBay, of course, sides with him because eBay is smart. eBay looks at the tracking. I mean, I'm not saying eBay is super smart, but eBay looks at the tracking and sees that it was returned to sender and that it was never delivered. So eBay says, hey, we're gonna go ahead and side with the buyer on this one. We're gonna go ahead and refund him the full amount. And yeah, so that's it. That's where it ends for him. Now we get on to the headache for me. So about a week passes, we're between like December 20th right now. And I still don't have it. I still haven't gotten anything. The tracking hasn't updated. And so I call USPS. I probably spent, in the grand scheme of things, okay, since like the 20th of December to now, I've probably spent between like 6 to 10 hours either on hold or talking to people at USPS. And I am done. I'm done. I've given it a fair shot. I've tried. I've worked through every single dialogue option, and I have not been able to be successful. So, the end result. Today is January 14th when I'm recording this. January 13th, the day I'm recording this. There is no package. I never got my package back. I never got my slab back. Also, the tracking has never updated. I filed a claim. The claim was immediately denied. And the reason they denied it, they sent in the mail, they said the package was successfully delivered. Now, I have a question for you guys. If you pay extra money for signature confirmation, if you pay extra money for proof of delivery, shouldn't they have to provide proof that they delivered it? They have no proof. They have no updated tracking. They have no proof of a signature happening. They have nothing, absolutely nothing. And then, one of the times that I was on the phone, I asked for an investigation. I asked for something to happen. I said, hey, I put in an appeal. They said I would be hit back up within the next 14 days. I need to have some sort of resolution. I cannot keep going in this back and forth. And, I understand that it was only covered for insurance of up to $100, but at least I could get my $100 back out of the $342 that was refunded to the customer. Like, I would be happy with at least something. But right now I have $0. I'm completely 100% out of $340. So that's the end of the story. Literally, that is it. I'm done. I'm done trying. I just got an email actually like just before recording this. And I was hoping this was like my last straw. I was just hoping, please let me have some good news for this video. Let me make something that says, hey, they finally turned it around. And no, the email I got was very simple. It just said, hey, we've decided that the package was successfully, or no, they didn't even say that actually. They just said, we don't know where it is. That was it. That was the investigation that they did. It was Tanisha at USPS. She decided to say, yeah, well, we have no idea where your package is. We don't see anything here at our office. Yeah, we just really don't know where it is. So sorry, looks like you've done everything you can. Just wait for claims department to hit you back up. And that was it. So basically, you know, maybe I'll have an update for this video. Maybe the claims department will decide we're gonna actually do our job and look at the tracking, look at where the proof is. You know, and I personally feel like they should have to provide me proof. I feel like that should be a requirement. I paid for it. I paid extra money to have proof of delivery. So yeah, that is the end of the story. And then, whew, man, stressful. It's stressful, dude. It's stressful like shipping stuff. I'm just gonna be honest with you. This has been quite the ordeal. I mean, here we are literally 5 weeks later, a new year, and just no resolution, really disappointing. But so in terms of updates, I kind of wanted to just talk to you guys about all the stuff that's happening in the hobby and like how crazy it is. I just saw a PokeRev's video the other day where he was talking about just how like, I mean, it just sounded so gloom and doom, like seriously, like just like, oh my gosh, the every price modern pack is insane. Nobody's able to get hold of new products. How are people gonna play the game? Like literally just to play the game, like is gonna be so expensive. You talk about $15 for a booster pack, you know, 10 cards or 11 cards. Like that is absolutely insane. And, you know, I do feel like on one hand, I feel like it's cool and it's like good for the hobby for there to be a lot of excitement. But the fact that product isn't keeping up is what's, I think, has the most people scared. You know, that like there's just so much demand, but there's not enough people, or there's not enough, you know, manufacturing going on. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of entertain this idea and see you guys' thought about it, because I feel like I have noticed that the past year to year and a half, you know, I've been back in the hobby for about 6 years now, and I would say the past year and a half, the Pokemon Company has been doing things differently. They have been releasing product in waves, and I'm not saying that them releasing product in waves is a new thing, like an entirely new thing, but what I'm talking about is I'm not talking about brand new products. I'm talking about product they release, they have more inventory than what they're providing right then and there. Or they're going to have more inventory. So like, for example, Prismatic Evolutions. We know that like the first drop, it's gonna be like a wave, and it's gonna be just bought up very fast. But I genuinely think that the Pokemon Center and the Pokemon Company is going to continue rolling out those same products in waves to different stores. Like not just on their website, but different stores. And I think they're like pulling back from like the smaller like distributors. And part of the reason I think that too is just because I've tried to get a distributor account, and ever since COVID, it seems like they just refuse to work with online retailers. And I feel like that's them pulling back from like the smaller guys. They want to just go to the big guys, get a ton of inventory unloaded on them, and then they have to sell it. And so I don't know. I feel like they've been just doing things differently. And genuinely, I really don't know what I'm talking about with any of this stuff. So do not take this as like fact or like I know everything. Like I do not understand distribution very much at all. But I just genuinely feel like things have been different. Like I feel like they're holding back almost. And I have no way to prove that. But I just, look at Crown Zenith, like the Sea and Sky boxes, and look at 151 with the Blooming Waters. Like clearly they have so many more packs that are being released way after, way after. And I just am so like, I don't know, it almost feels like, and I've seen it commented on some videos, it feels like manufactured scarcity. It feels like they're generating fake FOMO. They're generating fake fear of missing out because they're holding back the inventory. And think about it, like if they list on Pokemon Center website 15,000 Journey Together ETBs, it's gonna take a lot longer, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it wouldn't take that much longer, maybe like 50,000, let's say, 50,000 Journey Together ETBs, put them on the website, listed as active, and it would take a little bit longer to sell out versus if they put only like 1,000 or 5,000, 1,000 to 5,000. I think that's gonna sell out pretty much within the first day, especially with how much demand there's been. So I don't know, I feel like that might be what's going on here, and I just genuinely, I think, we need to smarten up as collectors. We need to avoid just like FOMOing into every single product. It's like we're just tripping over ourselves. Like, oh, here comes another product. Oh, I gotta scoop it all up. Oh, here comes another product. Like we just need to like get some mental clarity and just look at it from the standpoint of like, they're a business. They want people to do this. They're not losing money by everyone buying up stock in craze. They're making a ton of money off of this. And I feel like that, they're a business. Like that's it. That's all they want at the end of the day. Like I don't necessarily think that they're thinking, like PokeRev mentioned, like, about that everyday small collector or that kid that just wants to get a hold of the new set, open it up and play with those cards. Like I don't necessarily think the Pokemon Company as a whole is thinking about that. I think they're just thinking about how can we make the most money. And it's a new year, when you first are starting out, getting those numbers up can really help, for the end of the year numbers. So that's just kind of some of my thoughts, kind of like talking about, just the current state of the hobby. I don't know how long this is going to last. The hype is not going to last forever though. So just be aware of that, guys. I don't necessarily think you should go and buy Prismatic Evolutions, except if you see it, out in the wild. There's no way it stays at $150 for an ETB. And I just genuinely, I just want the best for collectors, and I want people to be able to get product for a reasonable price and not be, price gouged like out the door. Like it's crazy. It shouldn't be happening where product is this expensive right out the gate. So anyways, that is all my thoughts. This video has gone on for way too long. Thank you so much as always for listening to me, guys. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. We're like right around the corner from that. We got a bunch more shorts coming to the channel. I really do appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.